She told her husband she was going out with co-workers, said it was a farewell dinner for someone he never knew, said she wouldn't be home too late, and kissed him like she always did, with soft lips and a hollow warmth that used to be real once, long ago, before she started meeting the man who made her feel like she mattered again. She wore the red dress he hadn't noticed in years, the one that clung to her hips, and made her feel like the woman she forgot she was. And when she arrived at the restaurant, his eyes were already waiting across the table, already dark with hunger, already filled with that secret, knowing that only two people who have crossed a line can share. He didn't rise to greet her because he knew the game, and she didn't ask why, because she had already surrendered to it. They ordered wine, something rich and full-bodied, just like the touches he would give her later, beneath sheets that didn't belong to her marriage. They laughed loud enough to drown the guilt in her chest. She leaned closer than she should have and whispered things her husband never heard anymore, promises and sins, and breathless invitations. Her hand slipped beneath the table to find his, and when their fingers touched her, skin remembered every night before this one, every stolen kiss in parked cars, every hurried goodbye in dim hallways, and every whispered moan that echoed in her memory now and forever. But what she didn't know, what her eyes didn't catch while she stared at him like he was the only man on earth, was the shadow near the bar, the figure who had followed her curious, then suspicious, then certain, the man who had trusted her with his name, his future, his loyalty, now standing with hands clenched, in disbelief, watching his wife play, pretend with another man, watching her tilt her head, laugh gently, sip her wine, and lean in again to be kissed, like a woman reborn. She was caught not by accident, but by inevitability, and still, she didn't see him, not yet, not until she rose to follow her lover out the back exit, with fingers tangled, and smiles gleaming like betrayal, dressed in perfume and soft skin. Only then did the air shift, and her gaze land on the face she knew better than her own, the face that now held a storm, the face of the man who had once called her his only. She didn't say his name, not her husband's, not even once, not while the hotel door shut behind them, not when her back hit the wall and his hands slid beneath her dress, like they always did, searching, finding, claiming her like he had every other night. They weren't supposed to be together. She couldn't speak it, not the truth, not the fear, not the sting of being seen by the one she had vowed herself to, because if she did, everything would unravel faster than the straps falling from her shoulders, faster than the breath leaving her lungs, as his mouth found her neck and his voice filled her ears with everything her husband never said anymore. She felt like silk, unraveling like a secret, told in the dark, and though her body responded with the fire of a woman starving, her mind screamed with images of the man who had stood there, who had seen everything, who had once made her a bride, and now watched her become something else entirely. She wanted to pause, to scream, to run, but the heat was too thick, and his kisses too sure, and the ache between her thighs refused to care about consequences, or vows, or rings that had long since lost their glow. She gave in again and again, fingers tangled in sheets, hips rising to meet every thrust like confession, like worship, like punishment. She moaned his name, not her husband's, not the one who stood in shadows earlier, but the man whose body now owned her completely. And when it was done, when they lay there, breathless, sweaty hearts, pounding against skin, slick with sin, she turned her face to the ceiling and let the silence swallow her. She didn't speak when he traced circles on her stomach, didn't move when he said he could never let her go. Not now, not after this, not after. Being inside her again, like she belonged to him, and only him. She felt the pull of guilt, like a wave waiting to drown her. But she didn't fight it. She let it wash over her, and stayed there floating in the lie she had made warm and soft and dangerous. Because in that room, in that moment, she wasn't a wife caught. She was a woman remembered, wanted, needed. In a way her marriage had long since forgotten, and though she knew the reckoning was coming, she closed her eyes and chose to stay just a little longer in the heat, in the madness, in the arms of the man who had ruined her and made her feel alive all at once.